Welcome to another This is Nampa Junior interview. My name is Miss Tracie and I work at the Nampa Public Library. As you can see, we are not at the library today. We are at the Nampa Civic Center, and I am so excited to introduce to you a wonderfully talented musician. And we are going to start off with a bang. And here you go. This is Sean Rogers. That was so great, Sean. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about that piece that you just played?
Absolutely. It's Sweet Georgia Brown. It was written in the 1920s. And it's been a piece that I've been playing since I was about 11 years old. It's been one of my favorite pieces. It's so much fun. I always say it's as much fun as eating hot dogs, playing baseball, and eating apple pie.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Especially apple pie.
Exactly.
Sean, do you have a favorite song?
You know, actually, my favorite song, truly, is the song I'm always playing at that time. You know, there's so many pieces that are beautiful and that have so many good memories. So it's just whatever I'm playing at that time.
Great. How old were you when you started taking piano lessons?
I started taking lessons when I was 3 years old, and I was playing organ, not piano. And then I took piano when I was 10, but I started keyboard when I was 3 years old.
3 years old. Wow. How many of you are 3 years old? You could start taking piano.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's so cool. So why did you start taking lessons?
My parents and my grandparents recognized that I had this love for music at a very early age. Even when I was crawling, I seemed to always be getting into the LPs and the records, and I'd rearrange them every night and put them in a different order. My dad would come home and he'd say, "Who rearranged these? Why?" And he couldn't believe that it was actually the 1.5-year-old son, because it was rearranged the same way every single time.
Wow.
And so they thought, well, there's got to be something here with him.
That's amazing. I can't imagine. So you did more than just pull clothes out of drawers and
It was
toys. You were organizing.
I was organizing records.
That is so cool. Well, when you were taking lessons, did you ever want to give up? What kept you going?
Absolutely. There are a few times that I wanted to give up. You know, whenever you're doing something that's worth doing, it's going to get hard and you're going to want to give up. But I always had community members, I had friends, I had grandparents, parents, and adults who were very supportive. My piano teacher, they were always pushing me and nudging me, more lovingly nudging me to keep on going.
That is so great. So don't give up, right?
Absolutely, don't give up. If it's hard, then that means it's worth doing.
Great. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Great advice. How many piano teachers did you have throughout the years?
I had at least 4 piano teachers. Now, I've taken lessons from many different people for short amounts of time, but my major piano teachers, I would say 4 people.
Tell us about one of your teachers and what did you like about him or her?
I would have to say Sylvia Hunt. And Sylvia Hunt lives in Caldwell, and she is a well-known musician in this area. And Sylvia Hunt was my organ teacher. And Sylvia she still is inspiring. She is always involved in music. She's involved in the community. She's always playing. She's always doing things for the community. And that's what inspired me. I always told myself, Sylvia was my hero, and I really needed to I wanted to be like her.
That is so great. And of course, I've heard the name Sylvia Hunt too. She's such a great arts advocate in our community.
Absolutely.
So such an important woman. So thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for all you did for Sean too.
Thank you, Sylvia.
You. All right. Well, would you tell us a little bit about what you do in the community?
So I'm a full-time musician, but along with being a full-time musician, I am actually 7 months away from being a full-blown Episcopal priest.
Wow.
And
cool.
So my job means that I am touring as a musician. Of course, when it's not COVID-19, I'm touring. And I've toured in 8 different countries. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm serving a church right now in Ontario, Oregon, 2 churches. And one of them is actually in the Snake River Correctional Institution there. So
that is so wonderful. Thank you so much for doing things like that.
Absolutely.
So important.
Thank you.
Your favorite memories from childhood that involves music?
I have a lot of interesting experiences traveling, performing in different places, even performing in different countries. And those are all really exciting. Though I think one of my all-time favorite experiences, it was something that happened every night. My parents and my grandparents had the organ and the piano. So every night I'd play and Grandma and Grandpa would sing. And so it was one of those things where it really affected how I look at music, because music always had love. Music always was surrounded by love and care. And so I think if I was to really think about it, that's really what I'd have to say. I mean, there's a lot of great experiences, but that's what it's affected me the most.
Wow, that is beautiful. So you would play music with your family with your grandma and grandpa would sing.
Yes.
And as a family, you just felt that love and the music just all together. That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
What games and activities did you like when you were a child?
I really spent most of my time practicing. And so I enjoyed bike riding and activities like that. But for the most part, I love to daydream and play music and listen to music. I listened to a lot of music. My grandparents and my parents had a lot of records. At that time, records and cassette tapes. You guys probably don't know what those are now.
You'll have to Google that.
Yeah, Google that. Google that. Yeah. So, and CDs growing up. So that's a lot of what I did was listen and practice.
Well, you can tell.
Well, thank you.
can tell.
Thank you.
We have to ask this since we work at the library. What was your favorite book when
Yes.
you were growing up?
There was a series of books in grade school that I loved, and they were it's called the Boxcar Children.
Oh, they're still popular.
They're still popular.
Yeah.
Wow! I loved those when I was in grade school.
Oh, that's great.
And now I love reading autobiographies too.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Music.
Why did we even ask that?
Yeah.
What was your next favorite
Next
subject?
favorite? Art. No. Actually, my next favorite subject was probably English. I enjoyed English.
That's great too.
Yeah.
As long as you don't say math. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Math is great. Math is very good. We need all of it, right?
We do. We need all of it.
All right. Oh, what is something you're still learning?
A piece of music or just something I'm learning?
Oh, anything. Something about life or music or, I mean, if anything comes to mind. Computer technology.
Computer technology. That, yeah. If any of you can help me, that would be great. Actually, I'm always trying to learn. Like I said, I love biographies. So I'm always trying to learn more about people and how they inspired others. So it's interesting to read about presidents because they're great leaders who shaped a whole nation. So it's interesting to kind of figure out how. And so I love reading biographies and autobiographies. And, you know, the beauty of life is to spend the rest of your life always learning, always learning.
That is great. Thank you so much. If you had the chance to meet any musician, past or present, who would it be?
I think Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was just an amazing musician. I think living, living would be hard. Billy Joel. I'd love to meet Billy Joel. I like Billy Joel's music. Yeah. And of course, I'd love to meet Mozart and Bach and Beethoven and all of those wonderful composers too.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who. I get to meet Sean Rogers.
Oh, no.
I'm so happy. But yeah, those are great musicians. I know it would be so cool to just meet any musician you wanted to.
Absolutely.
Really. And
Absolutely.
Can you just briefly, can you tell them who Frank Sinatra is?
Frank Sinatra was a great jazz singer, and he used to sing big band music. If you ever hear of a song called New York, New York, many times he's the one singing that. He was a singer who was popular from 1940 all the way up into the mid-'80s at his death. And at one point, he was even the highest paid musician in the United States. He was very famous and great artist. Great artist.
And what decade was he most popular in?
He was actually popular for about 5 decades.
That's amazing.
From 1940 till about the mid-'80s to early 90s.
Okay, so you guys might not have been alive then, but he was awesome. Look him up, listen to his music.
Yes.
He's
Frank
great.
Sinatra.
Just briefly, in case they don't know who Billy Joel is, maybe one or two of his songs and what he does.
Piano Man is his most famous song. And he's living right now. Billy Joel, Joel. And he also, besides having written a lot of wonderful music, he's also a great leader in music.
Look up Frank Sinatra and Billy Joel.
Absolutely.
great. Isn't
Thank
that
you.
so awesome?
Thank you.
I could just listen to you play the piano for hours.
Thank you.
In fact, I really quickly have to tell you that my daughter and I came to one of Sean's performances here at the Civic Center. I believe it was last year.
It was last year, 2019.
And it was incredible. I just could not believe that you played that many piano pieces for that long. And we were just so inspired. In fact, my daughter, she was 13 at the time. She's taking piano lessons, and you really inspired her. And
Thank you.
I just appreciate you so much.
Thank you so very much.
So awesome. So thank you for playing for us today. What a
Thank
treat.
you. Thank you so much.
Please tell us about someone who inspires you and why.
Oh my goodness. She's not going to be happy because she's going to be watching this interview. My mother.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, my mom, she's my best friend. She is involved in everything still. And, you know, she's always learning and always doing, always trying to do new things. And so she's a person who's always inspired me. I consider myself very lucky for us to be best friends.
Sean's mother, what's her name?
Linda Quinn.
Linda, you have done a wonderful job raising a wonderful son. So good job. You must be an amazing woman. What has been a major challenge in your life, and how did you meet this challenge?
Being an artist in a world that music is not always supported. The arts are not always supported. And so it's been difficult because it's a difficult thing to get into, but it's not that difficult. What I had to learn is if you're just authentic with who you are, if you work hard, but always keep your eye about being authentic, about never trying to please, but just trying to find out who you are and putting that into the music. And that's been the hardest thing to learn, because life is so much about, you think, oh, well, I'm going to please somebody here. I'll do that. And that's good. It's not bad to please people. You do want to do that.
Sean, I agree. I think that's such an important aspect about being a person and an artist, is being authentic. Could you tell us more about what the word authentic means?
Authentic means being yourself. Trust that you are who you are, and you are beautiful who you are. That's, people have always said that. You're beautifully made, so you're beautiful the way you are. And you don't have to apologize for that.
What do you feel has been one of your greatest accomplishments?
Performing has always been a great accomplishment. But I think accomplishments, as I get older, accomplishments are really, they're no longer about big events in my life. They're about friends. And as I get older, I realize how important loved ones are, friends, family, and keeping them close in your life. And that in itself for me is more of an accomplishment. And I'm always so busy. So trying to always keep them close, because it's such a beautiful, not only support system, but in the end, it's just so beautiful.
Why is music and art so important for children to experience?
Music and art is so important to experience because, first of all, it allows a person to creatively express themselves. So in art, drama, music, it allows you to discover who you are, but it allows you to be other people. And it allows you to create. And that is so important. It allows you to do it yourself. I love games. I love the gaming systems, and they're wonderful. And they have a lot of creativity too. I have loved piano and drawing and things like that because I'm doing it myself. So if I see a figure, I draw it. If I hear a sound or color or thing, I can create it on the piano.
Cool.
And so it's that type of creativity that's so important. And then I've never been bored once in my life, ever. Never been bored. You just can't be, because you have so much to work on and so much creativity to use. So.
Perfect. Yeah, I always say, how can anyone be bored?
Yeah.
There's always something to do. If my kids ever say they're bored, I'm like, oh, well, I have some ideas for you. No, I'm not bored.
Wash the dishes. That's what I would say.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So thank you, Sean. That's so great. Art and music can play such an important part of everyone's lives, and hopefully children have that experience. What parting words of wisdom would you leave with us today?
Be who you are. Everybody's born with a talent. And a talent does not necessarily need to be artistic. A talent can be basketball. A talent can be organization. A talent can be knowing how to dress well. I mean, there's so many talents. But the world needs your talent. And the world needs you just as you are. And realize that those talents are so important. There's always somebody who will benefit by what you have to offer. There's always somebody who will benefit by what you have to offer. So if you can offer that, you will make the world a better place.
Super. I totally agree.
Yeah.
What was one of your most embarrassing moments?
I can tell you, I was playing a concert, and it was a small stage, and it was one of those pianos that the only way they had room was by putting my back to the audience. And I don't know if the camera can see, but here's a drop off here. So imagine that I had to play right here. And so I'm playing, and as I was playing, I got more and more involved, and I was creating a story, and there was supposed to be an earthquake in the music. And so I get to the earthquake, and I'm going, and I'm going, and I'm going. Little did I know that every time I kept on playing, my chair was scooting back. And so all the audience members, I could hear this. And I just thought, wow, they're really getting into the music. Not knowing that I was coming this close. Well, I finally hit a chord and just boom, like this. And my chair went off the stage with me on it. And I was safe. I wasn't hurt, but I just fell off the stage.
Oh my goodness.
And of course, everybody came running up. It was kind of embarrassing. And I wasn't hurt, so I just got back up, and I, without even thinking, I said, well, that was the earthquake section. Now we're going to move on. And then I started playing the rest. So that was probably the most embarrassing.
To ask you a question about the pieces that you played.
Yes.
I noticed that you do not have music that you're looking at.
Right.
What's up with that?
When I was young, I was taught how to improvise. So I make all of that up off the top of my head. I have no idea what I played, but I know what notes I'm playing when I'm playing. I just don't remember them when I'm done. But I make them up, and so I'll never play the same thing twice.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So this, for you guys, I played a song, and it'll be the only time that song will ever be played like that for me.
Wow, that's incredible.
Thank you.
So cool.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today for this interview. We're so glad that you guys came to watch it, and we hope that you get to watch Sean in a concert someday. Thank you so much for joining us, Sean.
Thank you.
It's been a great privilege.
It's been a privilege. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Maybe someday you could come do a program at the library.
I would love to. Absolutely.
Okay. We have that on film.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Take care, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you know Nampa Public Library has a large collection of piano sheet music available for checkout? When searching our online catalog, just type the word piano for the keyword search. Then narrow your search to printed music under type of material on the left side of the catalog. You can also choose Nampa Library under location to see what our library owns. If you don't choose a location, you can browse the entire collection of printed piano music available through our library consortium. You can always try to narrow the search other ways as well. Some printed sheet music might appear under book or some other category. You might be surprised to find such a great variety to choose from. Everything from how-to books, movie scores, Christmas music, rock, jazz, Broadway, classical, Disney, you name it. Here are a few piano books you can find at the Nampa Public Library.